Hello, everyone, and welcome to CMSA eSports Season 13 Ruby Invitational. Tonight, we're going to be celebrating the conclusion of our 13th season. Wow. For 10 players that have been voted on by the community, we'll take to the Rift and do a best-of-3 show match. I'm Sam VC. I'll be one of your hosts for tonight. I'm joined by the two incredible co-casters, both Jules and Gunny Hartman. I'll let you introduce yourselves.
Hey everyone. Jules been playing with CMSA for a while now. I was originally called Gur Shady Bear, if people remember that one, or Jules now. Definitely excited to get into both of these teams and yell at all of them for being bad or great.
I love it. And I'm Gunny Hartman. I'm in the Pearl League as a jungler. Been there for a little while. Happy to be here. As Sam, beautiful introduction. This is the Invitational. So these are the people who have been voted by their peers to be here tonight. All 10 of them. Picked for the specific lane matchup that you want to see. So if you haven't been with us for an invitational before, everybody is locked to the lane that they've been picked for, but that doesn't mean we're not going to see some crazy picks and bans here. So, Jules, it's really nice to have somebody who's been playing regularly with these people for a while to help us out with that inside scoop knowledge here.
Yeah, absolutely. And speaking of, I think that we saw some chat in there about Zengi wanting to use a ticket. I'm pretty sure that's not allowed.
Not
No
for this
way.
game.
No way. Not for this game.
And Jules, I'm excited to have you because you made the stream a few times this season as a player, and you were always putting out such great performances. So it's really fun to have your ear. And you had some matchups against a lot of these players tonight that were cast on air. So it's gonna be nice to hear your kind of insight into the match as the evening progresses.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean, I think.
just seeing these teams, Jules. What do you have right off for us? What
Oh
should we
man.
look for?
Yeah, I mean, I think well, both of the teams, right? Like I've played on and against pretty much every single person on here, multiple times. Been on my team or against them several times. So looking at them, I haven't actually thought about the specific matchups too much. I know we have some slides that talk about the actual matchups on the teams here that we could bring up, but I think it's going to be really interesting. As a jungler, I always am looking at the jungle matchup, and I think that that'll be what my eyes are drawn toward a lot of the time. But every single one of these matchups, I think, will be really spicy and interesting, and I'm sure, dive more into that during picks and bans once we get there.
Super
Absolutely.
excited.
And I also just kind of as the players are kind of getting in the lobby and getting ready, I do want to kind of say, just for everyone tuning in and watching, we've got, obviously, as an organization, so much going on. There's some upcoming events that I want to make sure that we kind of open and remind everyone about. We've got C2E2 coming up April 26th through April 28th. So if you are in Chicago, or if you're not in Chicago, plan to come to Chicago for those dates at C2E2. We'll have a big booth set up. We'll have lots of players, our community members there, and so it's just a good opportunity to just come support what we do for CMSA eSports, and hopefully meet some new people and find some great gamers that pass the vibe check and bring them into our community as well. So definitely make sure that that's on your calendar for April 26th through April 28th. And then there's also a community day. Do you guys either know about anything about the community day going on next week?
Oh, I mean, if I want some information on that, I could always navigate, of course, to our beautiful website, cmsaesports.com. Under the events tab, I'm sure there's some sort of information that could be there
All I know
on the
is that
calendar.
it is March 20. It's next Tuesday. So when we have our usual league night, of course we will. Season 13 is concluded, and so we will not be having any league play, but we will have that community day. There's always fun events. I know one of the fan favorites is you have a team that's all bald that will be playing on the Rift. So hopefully they can continue that tradition going forward as
Yeah,
well.
Good call out too. We're kind of in an interesting spot for the CMSA esports where there's a lot of the leagues have concluded their seasons right now. So there's a little bit of time as we get hyped and build up for C2 E2. So I don't remember if we've dropped the theme for next week. Yesterday we of course had our Fortnite event, which was Bachelor themed. So this will be an exciting theme. I'll wait for
Oh,
until we get
okay.
bug in the ear clarification on if the theme is dropped for next week, but it is League of Legends specialty nighttime TV theming. So it's going to be super fun.
Okay, and it looks like, are we getting ready to jump into picks and bans between these players? So let's get to it.
Yeah, love to see that. We're expecting some obvious ones, I think, coming out for sure. Like that's gonna be K272 or Daisy's Ivern pick, which they don't normally get to play very often. We'll probably expect a Jarvan ban on the other side as well for Zhang, and there it is.
There it is indeed. And shout outs in the chat now, Mr. Raccoon reminding us that the Fortnite Bachelor winner, I believe Nectar here, is also playing tonight. So this could be 2 days in a row of big wins. As we see Zangy, for sure, Zangy's Jarvan probably not going to be seen tonight.
Yeah, I almost wonder how much I should say here if like I don't want them to actually clue into what I say to guess what ban is gonna happen. I like to talk about the bands for our team too, so I don't want to like give out too many hints. But that Seraphine for Power Bottom Barbie is always such a good pick. But you know they'll tell you any day that they can play any support, so it's hard to actually ban them out.
It's true, and the ban over the Caitlyn ban for Who Ate My Pop Tarts, I'm pretty sure that's a almost 100% pick if it's available, right?
It is, as long as we're not looking for Smolder, which there it goes.
Very smart here. That does lead MF though for Dr. Fox, right? Pretty
Yeah,
heavy
you
pick
might
rate.
go towards something like that. I expect, we have a lot of different champions that are still signature picks sitting on the table. I would say one of the biggest ones that I'm surprised to see is Tender Kitty not getting a Ari ban, but might actually just be first picking the Karma. I know he was playing that a lot in solo queue lately. And it's such a strong pick right now, too.
Yeah, I do love to see Tender Kitty on those champions that can carry a game. Loves to play, like you said, the Ari, some other signature picks of his as well. But yeah, seeing him on the support, he's played it on the stream a few times, kind of more of the supporty Karma, but he does bring a very aggressive style to the pick. So I definitely, I see them trying to play around the whole team, which I think is a good setup going into game number 1.
Pretty rounded pick early too. That's, you could build any team comp around a Karma right now, not showing too much on the first pick as we see it. Looks like we're going to go towards the bot lane, rounding off in the first round of pick ban here as Callista's hovered.
I would love to see a Callista here. My main, the champion I put so much time into on the first season of CMSA eSports when I was playing regularly, but going with Samira instead, also an aggressive pick.
I hate Samira as a jungler. Like it feels like you can't really get onto them unless you're playing like a Vi or a Rammus. You have to really choose someone that's going to like run at them at full speed. Volibear also could have been one of those options potentially, but going on to that side with Zangy, such a strong pick right now. It's getting nerfed hard in this next batch.
With that charm from Ari available too, now your Samira, you've got some safety net having that Blade Whirl available to get out of some sticky situations. So maybe even a pick around that mid lane right now. That last looks like Rumble is going to get through here in the first round.
So Rumble, that is not something that Poggle has made on stream. I'm not sure if he brought it out during the regular season at all, but was kind of more confined to kind of more supporty-ish style top laners. So lots of like Urgot and things. So I'm curious to see how that's going to develop here for Poggle.
Yeah, we see the Volibear up now, so I assume that's our top lane matchup shown. As bans now targeted, Morgana dropping out.
Yeah, Morgana's always a good one. I've been loving Morgana right now in the jungle, but she's just strong anywhere you put her. Especially trying to like make sure that those bits of AP that they have stacking up right now actually get through.
Mm-hmm.
And also, it does pair well with Samira if you're gonna give her that spell shield to kind of get in there and make things happen. They don't have a ton of CC right now to like shut that down. So I'm sure they're thinking about how are they going to answer this big, heavy, all-in composition. And there's one answer:
Yep.
lots of
Yep.
CC out of Nautilus in the bot lane.
CC all-in-one champion there. That dredge line going to be available constantly when we get to late game, and yeah, that's exactly what you needed to round off this team here. But we see a return fire in the Blob Man.
Love the Blob Man. This is interesting. So this is that Volibear I think was a flex pick. I thought it was going over to Zing. I guess it could actually still be Zach top and Volibear jungle. But with where Zach is right now, it's such an interesting flex pick that can be done.
And even going all the way back to the season changes in the terrain for the map in general, you know, Zach, one of the junglers that can make it through the wall top lane all of a sudden. So a lot of flexibility there, but we see Trundle coming out. Trundle says, I don't care as long as one of you builds some stats, I'm going to steal them.
Yeah, that is disgusting. I absolutely hate playing against the Trundle, especially when you're trying to build tanky like this. That was an excellent pick,
Great pick.
for last pick there. I
It's
think
going to make
our problem.
Our cameraman's going to be real happy about that. Shout outs to everybody behind the scene here. Kung Pao, the OG Trundle player, working on cameras, and Vibros, of course, behind the scenes here too, making it all come together.
We love a Trundle.
Yeah, I wanted to mention that as well. I think, you know, we need to give a lot more kudos and claps for Vibros, who like excellent job putting all of that stuff together. No one else has the sort of, you know, stuff that we do with this website and the automation that goes into it. That's definitely not an easy task. So huge shout out to Vibros for that. It's really awesome that we get to utilize all of his skills for our fun enjoyment.
Everybody should join the captain's draft at least once just to experience that part of the website because it's incredible.
Yeah, the entire behind the scenes drafting system is pretty wild. If you're less sentimental and more into financial support too, you could always, you know, make your way over to shop.cmsaesports.com, pick yourself up one of the amazing sweatshirts or a hat, or I'm gonna run this into the ground until I get some more colors in that tank top. Somebody out there hear me, but when they're up there, my order's coming through.
I'm trying to make sure that I have sound on my game over here, so that I'm trying to figure out how to get that going, but hopefully I'll figure it out before the load in happens.
If not, I think Sam volunteered to recreate all the game sounds for you. Do all the voice lines.
Yeah. Do the Foley work for every character's ability, and then we'll do the rest of the sort of like shoutcasting.
Perfect. Can do.
We are sitting through spectator delay here.
Who are we
Level
has the team advantage here?
I think Sam and I might agree here, but Sam, you see an advantage on either side?
Well, I mean, one team's got Samira on it, and so many tanks. I really like the kind of composition that what is this? The tender fart nectar flavored Pop Tarts have put together. They're so tanky, and I don't see a huge strong answer for the tankiness that they're bringing into this. Volibear is so strong in the meta right now; it's going to be able to jump in and just wreck all sorts of havoc across the Star Guardians. And then you've got Samira to come in and start cleaning up. And I think Karma is so good with that empowered speed boosts for the whole team. It's just kind of a great death ball comp. They team fight really well. So I think it's going to be an explosive game. And Star Guardians have their work cut out for them trying to figure out a way to team fight against this composition.
I'm gonna go on the other side of the fence just for fun. I think that Trundle's really going to give them a hard time if it gets let loose properly. It's gonna have so many great targets for hitting the Zac or the volley or even the Thresh really with that ultimate, and then just run down the rest of them backdoor. If they can get the Void Grubs, I think that they're gonna find a way to win with just Trundle split pushing.
Beautiful. One on each side, then. I don't want to call it a tiebreaker, so I'll say I think the 15-minute mark is going to matter quite a bit in this game when we see those objectives start to come online. Who can get to that late game faster? Do we see a level 1 coming out of either of these teams here? It's invitationals, guys. Let's not line up in 5.
We got to put on a show, right? Yeah, we're not going to see a five stack here. They probably already pre-negotiated their invades. With the Nautilus, I got to imagine, and the Thresh, one of them's going to want to invade, and we're seeing both sides go at it. I think already.
Yeah, Dredgeline versus Death Sentence here. Which hook is going to be more potent in this game? Ton of CC for both of them as we see 5 stack for red coming down here. We see both around the bot river.
Invade through the bottom, which is one of my favorite moves. Whenever
TFNFPs could get all the way behind them here if they choose to walk through that upper jungle. There's no vision on either side.
They just need to wait there. Whoever's the most patient wins.
The depth of that vision, though, they could walk directly into a team of... Ma gets... Dredgeline comes through, gets the hook early, though. It's 5v5. This is a cluster here as we see Ma getting real low. Ma's going to drop the Trundle. Trundle up 1. Chef Jangy going to fall 2 here as we start to split from each other. Not before Pop-Tart's dropping as well. Nectar going to have blobs available, so might be able to flash out.
And that's going to be a quadra kill for Trundle 1 minute into the game.
Did I say around the 15-minute mark?
Yeah, what? And there's one more here. Is Dredgeline going to come back up in time? It will, and the flash out by Tender Kitty.
Flash, no. Oh, I can hear the excitement of our cameraman as that 4 kills for Poggle on Trundle. That definitely helps your early game quite a bit here.
Hey, if I mentioned something about Trundle 4 seconds ago, it was that it's now absolutely going to be a problem.
And we have some more information now that we're actually in the game. That is Zac top, that is Volibear jungle. Flip side too, it is Rumble in the jungle, running maybe the Rumble in the jungle skin perhaps into Trundle top here too, and that's a big Trundle you're having to fight now level 2.
Yeah, that's an interesting tech. The Rumble jungle situation is, while getting more popular, is certainly still quite an unexpected move for a lot of people to deal with. So we'll see how Zangy wants to handle that during his clear. They do appear to both have had a leashless start, of course, because of the chaos there, and are pathing on opposite sides. So we probably won't see anything from them in a while, at least going head-to-head.
No, but pretty clear, at least clear advantage for the Volibear here in the early game. Already a camp ahead right now, but there must be some assists going over to that Rumble. So kind of evening out in the pace of the jungle right now.
Yeah, hard to say it's any clear advantage for this side of the map when you've given up a quadra kill. So that is they've got their work cut out for them grinding back. It's kind of like, do you want to path into this 4-kill Trundle, or do you want to avoid this like the plague and try to get something else to happen on the rest of your map? Because that could easily turn into a 2v1 sort of situation.
Exactly. I think that's the answer, is that you got to just make sure to avoid him at all costs. And look, he's even coming in for blood. He knows that he can push Zangy out of here whenever he wants.
Yeah, you can't avoid him when he's deep in your jungle. And it makes the question, okay, the Rumble decides to go top to bottom clear, so actually finishing on the bot side and not focusing on around that Trundle, but maybe that is the play if you're worried about Samira being the pop off for the enemy team here.
Coming in here.
See the gank. Dredgeline misses here.
The overheat, is it enough damage? Probably not.
No, and Death Sentence just misses, so I still think that's a good clear here as we see Chef Zangy getting caught out just a little bit here. But survive though.
Just enough there from that. Karma offering some assistance.
Oh, and we're seeing why Samira goes down to my most hated. But any win wall situation like that, who cares that you hit your skill shot? It's out of here.
Yeah, makes sense for Rumble to be down there. I'm sure Poggle on comms right now is like, I'm 4-0, just leave me alone. I'll be fine on the top side. And that could help scale them into the late game earlier. Which is
We
what
got
they
a gank
need.
coming mid from Rumble. And Kitty's good and out of there with no charm connecting.
The deadly Rumble gank at level 4.
Yeah, that's the difficult part. Is I feel like he must want to hyper farm until 6 until he gets his ult, and then it's a different story about ganking.
Yeah, it does have some gank reception in some of in his lanes, but yeah, it's tough to come out of the lane and hit nothing but a harpoon and try to score a kill early. But
neither jungle was pathing up toward the grubs just yet, which I'm surprised that I kind of expected them to try to catch that on spawn, sort of, especially on the Trundle side since they have such high priority there.
Yeah, I mean, it's
pretty looking for something in the bot lane here, but well spotted out. And now maybe they'll go for something in the top. Having seen Zangy in the bot side of the map, you've got tempo on the top. They're started right up.
Yeah, and the typical response here is that you will try to do Dragon, but that bot lane doesn't have Priya right there either. So it's going to be a difficult choice for Zangy right now to figure out what to actually take advantage of while those grubs get sadly taken away.
Not much to go for without control of that bot lane. Rumble getting closer and closer to 6 here as we see some good trades in the bot lane. Honestly, Rumble, despite not having CC to work with himself, you're walking into an Ahri lane or you're walking into a Nautilus lane, though.
Oh, that big trade just occurred, so you've got Powerbomb and Barbie low on HP. They decide to make the call, though, for Misfortune taking and grabbing that Death Sentence, and they'll take him down. They're trying to work on a dive. Can't quite put enough damage onto Powerbomb and Barbie, but there's one kill finally now scored for the Tenderfart nectar-flavored Pop-Tarts.
Yeah, don't call it first blood for TFNFPs right there.
We got a flash down on that. Zach, can he get the passive? He cannot. Ooh. Oh, that was almost a huge shutdown for him, too.
Yeah, early
subjugate. We have to shut down that for Poggle right now.
It's a beautiful trundle pillar to block the Zaki.
And then they've made the call to go for this dragon, but they've sniffed it out. Red team does secure it here. Rumble getting it, but now in some trouble going down to who hate my Pop-Tarts, who's now forced to flash over. Everyone's converging. You have level 6 here coming in from Ahri with Spirit rushing forward and getting so much damage down. Tender Kitty just getting alive, but still following it back. Hitting the charm now. Tender Kitty, he does have lots of shields available to him, but Powerbomb Barbie is one dredge line away. Will get out of there, though, just barely with their life. So they managed to earn the dragon and score a couple of kills as well.
That Rumble, completely worth your life, standing there against almost 4 people, gets the smite down, takes the dragon, and then all of a sudden you've got a Misfortune walking over to clean up. That is 100% worth it, worth your death at that point.
Yeah,
and that Star Guardian's not needing to bring their big man in the top lane here, Poggle, down to assist with that, and they still were able to score the dragon. So not with the TFNFPZ we're looking for here.
I like the acronym for that. I'm not going to remember that one. Oh, can we get the gank here?
No, Nectar probably not leveling E at this point, so doesn't have the range here to land all the way onto Bunnywife, who's going to be able to. It does end up dropping there, but we don't see the CC come out as you kind of want it to in that gank.
I wonder if Bunny's flash just came up, because the second that I saw that they were dead, the flash was up, but maybe it wasn't quite up just then. I know it had been used not that long ago.
Yeah, and I'm not sure if we missed the Spirit Rush, because same story with that too.
Used it earlier.
Yeah, it was definitely used.
Used at the dragon fight, yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect.
It must have just been barely off cooldown.
And honestly, that's pretty big for Nectar in the top lane now, as he's able to sit and get some farm under the turret after assisting with that kill mid lane. So exactly what he needs to keep in this game at this point.
Exactly? It's too soon for these puns. I'm sorry.
No, you nailed it. It's fun to watch this bot lane as we see
K2 coming out of Fog of War here, trying to see if there's a equalizer to be had, but instead we'll find the Death Grasp, and it's losing a whole lot of HP, forced to flash away. They've turned it right around, but they still have a numbers advantage to it. My Pop-Tarts now gonna fire off that Inferno trigger, does not score any kills though, so well repelled there out of the bot lane.
Yeah, bullet time available for that fight as well too, so I can just feel Dr. Fox hovering the R, waiting for a good spot to use it at that point. Everybody walks away with just a handshake, but again, focusing towards that bot lane, knowing that Poggle's still fine. Top lane might even be able to win a 1v2 at this point in the 2 tanks.
We got grubs coming up here in a second, so these junglers are Volibear especially wants these to make sure that they do not get 6, and that is actually going to be a really big takeaway for him starting that up right when they spawn. Excellent move by Zangy.
Oh, but that death sentence is not going to miss. We see bullet time coming through, but we're getting a bit of that blade whirl from Samir. Blocks off some of the damage there, but yeah, we're getting a drop of this Grubby, so we're going to go even on Grubbies this game, so Dragon's going to matter quite a bit coming up in, well, over a minute at this point.
And
So
Star Guardians invested so much into that. It was a repeat gank from K2. They were really trying to make something happen in the bot lane, and it's just so well played by Who Ate My Pop-Tarts and Soup in the bot lane to be able to not only make sure that didn't happen, buying their jungler time to take the Void Grubs up there, or most of them, but then also getting a kill out of the situation. So incredibly well done there by Pop-Tarts and Soup.
I'm seeing the tender fart nectar flavored Pop-Tarts really playing to what they need to do to get back in this game too. A couple kills going here and there, but honestly, they're 4-6 right now. They've tied up on the Grubbies. They're only down a Dragon. This is a pretty even game at this point.
Yeah, it's way more evened up now. It really is just going to depend on this top lane, which is what I expected from the start, sort of, but it should be very interesting to see how it unfolds.
It's the slowest game of chicken you've ever seen. Who's gonna leave the top lane first? If you can get the Zac to leave, Trundle will take every tower in the lane in a matter of minutes.
Absolutely, and he needs to at least stay there until those plates fall off, because otherwise there will be a lot of gold, solo gold going over to that Trundle. But they're gonna line up for this dragon now. And we'll see if they want to contest this. They have a lot of people down there to do so, but it might be a bit dangerous. Especially if Tinder gets caught out here, he's going to be able to make it away, but might not be able to have enough health to actually go back down to Dragon.
Did use that Spirit Rush, so that is going to be down, but we have Trundle now in the top lane with teleport available. Both sides want this here. There's no teleport available for Nectar, so I'm not sure how committed the TFNFP can be to this. If they're going to find one kill here, and there's Dr. Fox going to get it down. They burn a lot for that, but that's one pick. And with no TP, that is probably going to be a Dragon secured here. Only a steal option available now.
Chef Zang lining up for that steal potentially, but again, you're hitting the top lane here. A death goes down. We see the Dragon at full health, but Samir already picking up a kill. Gonna go in deep here. We're gonna pick up Power Bottom Barbie dropping very quickly. No Spirit Rush available now. Can you get away from Who Ate My Pop-Tarts? You cannot with the flash on top of you and another kill drop. That's a free Dragon now over to the TFNFPs.
Absolutely massive for them. Holy moly. That was an excellent engage in on them. I don't think they were ready for it at all.
As a secondary role top laner, I understand this. There's a lot of stuff going down in the bot lane. We're just up here doing our thing, working on this tower.
It's a nice vacation up there in the top lane for a little bit. Can he get a plate in these 30 seconds? Zac should probably not back just to make sure he doesn't get that last one. He probably is going to get it anyway, though.
Yeah, blobs available could freeze us slightly outside of wave. Really wants to get the last plate.
To get that plate, might
definitely getting it.
Not gonna look for any sort of maybe look for a dive here, but you've got Thresh in the vicinity, but coming the wrong way. Nectar gonna get the passive popped here, and then getting shut down. Gonna live to tell the tale here. As
Oh
Zach
my
getting up,
God.
but in the bot lane, who ate my Pop-Tarts popping off here, getting a double kill without a support. Thresher on the top side of the map, 1v2 here, and now it seems to be fully in control here for Tendered Nectar-flavored Pop-Tarts as they have jumped into the gold lead.
Rush not even needing to really do anything in the top lane. We get the kill because of the blob. That's an 800 gold shutdown. Who ate my Pop-Tarts in a great spot, getting the back off the kills earlier. Gonna fight through the equalizer, whirling through this one. Doesn't have anything to get the last bit of damage through there, but what a swing. We were dead even, and now we're seeing another kill maybe going on to Poggle.
Oh man, yeah, Pop-Tarts is absolutely feeling his oats in this Samira game right now after getting that triple kill. So much money going to his pocket. Now he just feels invincible and is able to ready to take on Rumble inside of his own ultimate.
And if somebody didn't say the 15-minute mark is where it matters, we're seeing a huge swing away from the Star Guardians with such a big early game lead. This is now a Rift Herald dropping on the enemy side here. So what are we looking for the Star Guardians to climb their way back into this game?
It's got to be the Trundle still, in my opinion. You know, like at some point, you know, the teams break away from lanes a little bit, and that's when the Trundle magic of just like, oh, we took our eyes off of him for 3 seconds. He's just over there smacking a tower down all day long. I think that's what needs to probably happen for them, and as soon as it goes unchecked, then that's when they can start doing something. He might need to build a hull breaker to make that happen. I'm not sure.
I wonder if the play is then you group up here as we see 3 Star Guardians in the mid lane, force them to answer you mid lane, and maybe you get that split push out of Trundle all of a sudden. I just feel like there has to be some coordination here to get the 4-1 or the 1-3-1, as Who Ate My Pop-Tarts is the real split pusher at this point.
Yeah, you say there has to be some answer in the mid lane, but there's got to be some answer for Who Ate My Pop-Tarts. They can't be left alone in a side lane, and it seems like no one wants to fight. But who does want to fight here is Poggle, looking to take some HP off of Nectar, punishing it as he can. You've got now K2 in the area to try and either heist some of the jungle or maybe coordinate a dive.
It looks like we're looking at that dive right now. They're tired of this Zach sitting on this tower, and they want this thing done so Trundle can move on to other stuff.
Yeah, doesn't even know the danger he's in as Pillar drops. Going to get the slow for a second. We see E drop. This is still a dangerous position for Zach to be in without blob available.
No cell division available. Coming in, landing. It's just one Electro Harpoon needed in the shutdown route on Zach here.
Not
going
a
over
single turret
to
shot
K2,
taken.
yeah.
We haven't talked about these two much, this mid lane matchup.
Yeah, there's so much going on in the other 2 lanes. These two are just sort of trading spells left and right, seeing who's got more malignance on them. Oh no, is this an execute? No, we're safe.
No. Walks out okay. Power bottom maybe looking for blood. Do they know they're not going to push forward into it?
Turn away.
Like Pop-Tarts would have a blade roll ready. I just feel it at this point.
Yeah, you look away from Pop-Tart for 2 seconds and they get another kill. It's insane.
Even a Nautilus, you know, is not going to survive against this 8-1 and 2 Samira for much of any amount of time.
And they know it. They're willing to play around it here. Zangy sitting with the Samira in this bush. They're going to go in deep. Zangy going to ult, try to get the slow out of the MF. Not going to hit it. Now we got a hightail out of here for a second. Meanwhile, Zach looking to solo push the mid lane here, dropping that Rift Herald finally. But we're getting another fight as a death sentence lands onto the support here. We're going to see 1 drop. I don't think we have a continued fight. There's no dragon to fight for right now, but another pickup from the Tender Fart Nectar flavored Pop-Tarts.
And they are going to pick up this dragon off of that, which, you know, what's going to be the answer on the other side? We don't have Baron for a little while, so they're just going to like scramble to try to get some gold around the jungle in mid lane.
And such patience on display there by the TFNFP to like sit in the bush. Not only are they the whole team there, but it's just 2. It's just Who Ate My Pop-Tarts. It's just Soup that are waiting there in that brush, and they're willing to take on 4, having to face check. They stall it out long enough to get the easy pick before Dragon. So they're playing bold right now.
We're seeing that early 4-0 start for Trundle finally even coming more online. We've got a 40 CS lead in the top lane, and you let that Trundle sit anywhere for a minute, and all of a sudden your inhib's gone. So this is the point of the game that's really going to start to decide this. Great job for the TFNFPs to crawl their way back in. But honestly, we're still anybody's game at this point in my mind.
Yeah, maybe you have to start sending over that Samira the Samira can probably shut down the Trundle in a 1v1 and stop the push there. So that might be the match that has to happen.
Shoutouts to a ton of people in chat. Our cameraman pointed out we hit the 500 sub goal or 500 follower goal we were looking for last week.
Yeah, we're looking for it all season. I'm excited to hear that. 500. Congrats, team. Way to go.
So many people joining.
And now as we're kind of in a lull here, the mid laners have made their way to the bot lane. Looks like maybe some action getting ready to start. As wow, and my Pop-Tart's immediately ready to Blade Whirl that charm away and sends Bunny Wife trotting away. Zangy and Nectar are here 2v1, but they don't want to see if they win that 2v1. I don't think they're willing to just walk away from it.
And that's gotta feel real rough for Bunny Wife, who up to this point has been farming so well in the mid lane, but you can't pop the AD carry because the AD carry's got a 700 gold shutdown at this point. Who can you pop with this Ahri?
Yeah, I mean, that's really what they're looking for. I think their goal right now is to get that money off of Pop-Tart any way that they can. I think that they need to set up a death bush and have Power Bottom Barbie hit a hook on her. And that's
how about we order a 5-man team fight as the equalizer comes down and there's bullet time over the top of it, and it's not going to be enough. The two of them Pop-Tarts just immediately storms into the back line. Still going to be alive, but they get the shutdown there. Tender Kitty now trying to keeping his team alive with some shields, but it's just barely hanging in there. Chef Zangy now at full HP, looking to take this fight there with this Volibear, getting a big chunk of HP down. The health bar is so low, about equal on either team, as you've got two members of Tender Fart Nectar flavored Pop-Tarts alive here. What a team fight, and they got that valuable shutdown.
It's the most even team fight I think I've ever seen. Could have gone either way. Bullet time 3/4 of the way gets canceled. All of a sudden you've got somebody in your back line, and we're even at that point. Everything's centered around the carries of these two teams. Both teams have two massive tanky champions, so the team fights here into this late game are just going to be who can protect those carries to get the damage out. This is absolutely wild.
Yeah, I think that the interesting part about that fight was that a lot of teams, you'll try to play front to back or whatever, or both teams will try to, one of them will dive the back line and the other one will try to peel. In this case, I think both teams were like, no, screw the front line. We're going straight into that back line on both sides of the fence. And they went for that Samira, they went for that misfortune on both sides. And I think that that's what the chaos was from.
Zangy has found himself a 1v1 that he finds very favorable. Dr. Fox trying to strut his way out of the situation, but will not get away. Zangy getting the 1v1 win with Dragon now spawning soon, so control of both sides of the map is what we're looking at trying to secure.
Not strutting away in those shoes, but honestly,
inside equalizer.
Another equalizer comes down. Who ate my Pop-Tarts trying to get out of there. Not enough peel as we see the box drop. Death Sentence going to come through. Flay as well. We have the support drop as well, but we're getting straight to the backline. Poggle, despite that early lead, not going to be able to fight out of this. Bunny Wife looking for somewhere to go, but is not going to be able to Spirit Rush out of this one. Drops as well, and just like that, triple kill over to your Karma now. So we got Pop Off in the mid lane too.
And I think that's just a testament of how tanky this team is. They killed the big threat, and then they just have shields forever, sustain forever, and they just did not have any way of actually cutting through the HP bars with Trundle and Ahri out of the way.
But Barbie over there said, watch Whirlwind this, flash ulted onto the Samira. Like, it's coming. You're not going to stop it. It doesn't matter if you do your whirlwind dance or not.
I think what's scariest for the Star Guardians is that the fight they have, if you go back to 2 fights ago into the river, that fight was on top of a Rumble equalizer. So it was a dead even fight, but it's with one of your best AoE ultimates hitting all 5. So this is still a tough spot.
And then both these teams want to continue to fight as Blade Roll comes down, blocks so much of that bullet time, but not enough. And now who are my Pop-Tarts going down? You've got very little damage, and all of Star Guardians looking to collapse here, and they've gotten many kills secured. Tender Kitty trying to run away. Equalizer will come and shut that down, and now they've got options and sights set for Baron.
Definitely going to the Baron on that.
Yeah, fight on fight.
Yeah, I think that the really interesting part here that we're seeing happen in this late game is the Misfortune first strike ult. You know, that's something that you set up specifically for this late game, and it's fantastic that, you know, catching them out on a first strike Misfortune ult is going to do just so much damage, and it doesn't matter if those get projectile blocked for a little bit by Samir, it's still going to do a crazy amount of damage.
Despite that massive lead, you see Star Guardians picking up that Baron. All of a sudden, they're keeping it alive at this point. Baron with this Trundle could be pretty scary if we play around it correctly.
Now, this might be my Pearl brain thinking, but I kind of wanted to see what would have happened if Zach and Volibear decided to try and fight for that Baron, because it would have been Team Bounce House. You drop that, drop that Volibear ult, you drop the Zach ult, and you just see what happens.
Who ordered the Bounce House?
I just wanted to see the Bounce House, all right?
Where are we at on items?
When it works really well, too. Everyone's so discombobulated that there's no production happening for anyone once those ults are going off in there. Yeah, I love seeing the item spread that everyone's building on here. It looks like we have a Dark Seal with 2 stacks on it for Bunny, who's so trying to stack that up and hopefully get some action there. And a lot of the Seeker's arm guards available for people. So, you know, they're ready for this next fight to start popping out some Zanyas, which will make a really big difference.
Pretty telling. Pretty much every fight starting either off a dredge line from the Nautilus or a death sentence from the Thresh. We're starting to funnel around this dragon. Still 2.5 minutes before it spawns, so we have a little while, but the fight for the vision beginning a couple minutes early.
Yeah, and I do want to see Star Guardians look to use this Baron. Right now they're fighting for vision. They're trying to make sure there's no one in the map, so they're just playing really, really careful, making sure there's not death brush or something. But hopefully they can get set up. It looks like they kind of got a 1-3-1 that they're looking to do now and start to really use this Baron to siege down a line. But they've got to be so careful because there's huge initiation options available to the TF and FP.
Yeah, Zach not one of them at this point, though. Gonna stay top here, drop a little bit to Pago. As Death Sentence lands, we're gonna see Power Bottom Barbie probably dropping at this point. Kill over, and Pago does not care what you're up to right now, Nectar. You might have passive, but Pago gonna stay alive. Has plants available, too. Doesn't even need to use it with the lifesteal available. Might get the kill. Goes for the plant. Just drops. They're so close to getting everything at that point.
But well done.
That would have been an inhibitor.
Yeah, huge from Jake or from Nectar there to Stonewall in the top lane. Make sure that there's nothing coming through. And so yeah, saving the inhibitor for his team there, for his efforts.
Honestly,
this is what we're going to start seeing more and more with, like, it is now no longer the ability for Zach to have any ability to control this. And you know, I was mentioning before, if he built that hull breaker is online now, and someone else has really got to step up. And you either need to have 2 people on that Trundle, or the Samir probably has to run in there and do something. Neither of which are great options. So this is what we were looking for on the Trundle side of the win.
Yeah, look how quick Trundle can take those towers. I mean, half joking, we said it earlier, but that's into a matching Zac with passive available, can still threaten your inhibitor. So tough spot as we see a lot of grouping for this dragon. Now 24 seconds in the making.
And I want to point out, but right before this goes off, that, you know, we have a 25-16 for the kills. However, the money is on the side of the 16 kills.
Pop-Tarts is so out of position here, trying to move forward. The bullet time comes down, and there's just everything gone. And kind of an en passant kill onto Zangy here, who just happened to get caught in the bullet time. Now the whole team galloping into the bot side of that jungle here. Tender Kitty trying to provide the speed boost to get them away, but they've got a blast cone to use, which means that a flash has to come down for them to fully escape. And so they've got a lot of control now and decisions to be made.
What a wild flash from the Karma. But yeah, Bullet Time coming through, picks up 2 with the Collector available. And we're seeing now a 5-man push. Does not matter if you can hit Death Sentence at this point. Zach going to try to go in. We know passive is down from that top lane fight. This is going to be very hard for the TFNFPs to stop here.
Luckily, Karma has some pretty good wave clear, so it looks like they're going to back off of it and just go for this soul stacking stopper here.
Yeah, stop on the souls. We still have a little while before Baron. They're playing for the late game at this point. They said, you know what? MF is pretty strong at this point. Nobody can deal with Trundle. We're fine with playing this game another 5-10 minutes. Maybe we can win it at that point.
Absolutely. I think that's the right move. It's funny because now we're actually seeing such a big gold lead despite the kill spread here. And all of that is just coming from objectives on these towers, just about. We have 7 towers to 2 towers, and I think that's got to be where the majority of that gold's coming from.
Yeah, I
Which
think
means it could be answered back the other way too. Still available on the board.
Yeah, I mean, Star Guardians they've got it easy here. They can set up into these lanes, start to push, trying to find some picks. If you're the Fart Nectared flavored Pop-Tarts, you've got to get creative with how are you going to find a kill that can find some shutdowns here.
He's going in.
Maybe
he just says ghosting here, and Power Bottom Barbie is kind of standing there alone and will now fall. So the answer was just a ghost and Chef Zangy, and now they will have a temporary numbers advantage of this spawns, but someone's got to go back and deal with Poggle, who is aggressively on the push.
That's it. Power
needs to be Karma, really, to wave clear off of this, but Zach's going to try to give it an effort here.
That's it. This is a little tough. Might not be able to start Baron. Power Bottom Barbie puts up 3 fingers and volunteers as tribute. Drops for that, maybe for the Trundle split push, but everything I think is going to remain even in this fight, despite the kills dropping.
I got to imagine that Barbie sat there saying, "There's a big bear running at me, help." Everyone just left her.
As a support, though, did your carry die? You did your job.
Right. Yeah, that's right.
Was she even close to you? No, but...
But if she wasn't, then someone else would have gotten the carry, so... We're gonna
realistically... I mean, we saw what happened when Who Ate My Pop-Tarts died mid. All of a sudden, you get a giant push. So we joke, but those carries dying are massive in these team fights with 2 big tanks on either side.
Rumble's looking for the equalizer angle on that side, but decides not to go for it. Yeah. All they have to do is play safe and wait for that Trundle to do his magic with a stick.
Yeah, we know he wins this matchup here at this point as Nectar trying to land the stretching strikes. Does get it. He's going to have to walk away here at this point. Poggle also dropping back for just a second here. But honestly, that's a massive advantage as we see the fight trying to go down for the Volibear mid. Death Sentence lands onto Power Bottom again. We get a bullet time. Power Bottom still alive for a second. Nobody dropping from the side of TFNFPs. They're going to be able to walk away.
Trundle TP is going in so fast.
They're not going to be able to walk away.
The man with the stick is still sprinting at
He is just too fast. They're walking, but Trundle was sprinting. They had no opportunity to retreat back into their base, and I would not be surprised to see some pings on the Nexus here as they've got a minion wave to work with.
That's it. Power Bottom walks so we can get the Trundle to sprint, and that is life right now. We do see the push coming in. We have a lot of damage still coming out here, though. We might see a drop out of, yeah, shutdown going over to Zach. Zach going to try to stay alive here. Zangy fighting the good fight onto Bunny Wife. Bunny Wife still does a ton of damage, though, farming very well in this game. 1v1, can we get the match? And we see one more ball come out, and the wave is there, so Zangy's going to have to walk away. But, man, that's an inhib down pushing into the Nexus now is the Star Guardians.
Now, what did I say earlier about Team Bounce House?
Boy, that Zangy healing, they need to get some heal cup for him immediately, it looks like.
And I mean, you just picked up a lot of gold in your pockets now, and you've seen how a team fight can work here. So maybe there's a glimmer of hope here for the TFNFP, as there is a Baron available. So if they can get out and try to get to it, they have vision secured first.
I think almost as a direct response to what just happened, Ari has now picked up a Oblivion Orb.
I mean, story of this game, one team has gold, one team has objectives. As we see the fight over Baron now, below half health.
One team also has a lot of AoE. You've got a bullet time and an equalizer and a clumped up team at Baron. There they both pop off, but not a lot of damage coming down as this Baron gets stolen, and now they're all trying to collapse on these low HP parts of the TNFP. They're trying to make something happen, but Tender Kitty cannot keep his big tanks alive, and now all of them have fallen except for himself. He'll be the final member of the team, and now with Baron stolen and no inhibitor protecting, they're just going to push on for the game.
Oh, Tender Kitty almost hiding in that bush for just a millisecond, maybe staying alive, but they checked it, and this has to be the end of game one. Honestly, on literally balancing on the head of a pin at this point. Could have gone either way, but we're gonna see game one going over to the Star Guardians.
What a steal. What a great game, actually. That was awesome.
We love to see those stopwatches during the Samira ult. I was like, oh no.
GG. That was a good one. Really back and forth.
After that, I mean, and I was not sure. I mean, we had a near pentakill at level 1 for this Trundle, and then think, okay, they're just going to be able to cruise this, nurse their lead. And who at my Pop-Tart said, absolutely not. I'm on Samira. I'm going to swing it all the way back for my team, where it looks like that it's given him such a chance to take the game. And then Star Guardians figured out how to play around the map, just using Poggle's advantage on Trundle to find that win. Really well played from both sides.
Yeah, I gotta imagine we're not going to see a Trundle coming into this next game.
I doubt it too. And is it who ate my Pop-Tarts that needs to join us right now? I can only imagine, or the Trundle. Who do we want in here?
For me, I think that the expectation was the Trundle was what did it, and I still think that was throughout the game for me personally.
Yeah.
All right then.
Let's bring Poggle in here.
Hey, Poggle.
Hello, how's it going?
We're doing great. How was that game for you? How'd you feel?
Well, good then bad then good.
Yeah, that's about a good summary of what just happened there. Any thoughts going through your head after getting those first 4 kills and what the move for the team was there?
Yeah, the thoughts were, oh, Penta, level 1 Penta. That's never been done before. But then, yeah, I mean, from that point, I kind of proceeded to troll my, in Trundle fashion, troll my lead away, but ended up bringing it back.
So you said it went from good to bad to good. Can you talk about the moment where it was going bad and then you brought it back and to good and pulled it out? What was the turning point that got you there?
I think that team fight where Samira got the triple kill was probably when we started being like, oh, that's going to be a problem. Because going into the game, we recognized they have 2 sources of damage. They have Karma and they have Samira. If we lock one of them down, they're reduced to 1 person in a team fight who has damage. But when Samira gets that triple kill and she's ahead of the curve, it's just bad news, regardless of game state.
Yeah, it was really exciting to see that split push action going in the true Trundle fashion. Any insights that you want to divulge to your enemies about what you're going to do for this next game?
Well, I promise you I won't botch the solo kill tower dive again. That was not good, but
it was at least entertaining though.
Oh yeah, I'm sure
Just for the stream.
True Trundle fashion, that was really troll of me. But I mean, I was telling my team this when we started talking a couple days ago when we found out what the teams were going to be, and I've played in a couple of the invitationals, and it seems to me, and from watching the Pearl Invitational last week, the team that has the simpler team comp to execute usually wins. Like, it's so much harder to pull off the team comp that they had, the sort of protect the Samira comp, than it is to just, as you saw at the Baron steal, just layer a Rumble ult and an MF ult on top of each other and just roast the whole team.
Yeah, hard to mess that. Well, I mean, it's as a jungler, I always fear that type of thing because you're like, oh god, everyone's gonna flame me for not getting the steal. But the truth is that that thing does a lot of damage, and everyone else is hitting it too. So you have no idea when you actually need to smite, and you're sort of just guessing. And it's rough whenever it gets stolen away from you by something like that.
Yeah, and also big shout out to Chemtech Soul for the absurd plant distance that you get from the blast cone.
You
Uh,
almost save
I
yourself off of that plant on that inhibitor dive as well by hitting the plant after getting Zach passive.
yeah, I know it was close. I even put my W down to try to increase the healing, but it wasn't enough. If I think genuinely think that if that had worked, that would have been the game right there. Because my team the whole time was like, "Oh, we're stopping their backs. We're stopping their backs," and I was like, "Uh-oh, I got bad news."
I'm scared,
Pago, will we see more split pushers coming out? Can I expect the Fiora or anything else in games 2 and or 3?
You know, it's always a possibility. We practiced a couple different styles of team comp, and split pushing was one of the ones that we found very successful, but we also had a lot of success with some other spicy things. So,
Well, Spice, it will be for game 2. Nice job on that win, and we're going to send you back to the team. Thank you so much, Pago.
thank you.
that was a fun game. Hopefully, we get an equal banger in game 2. Can we remind what was going on if they win both of these? What happens next?
Yeah, if we get a sweep, we are gonna play all 3 games tonight. Again, I don't want to take away from that gravitas of getting a game 3 for real, but we'll play out all 3 games tonight. There could be some fun extras that happen if there is an 0-2 situation. If not, we might play a true game 3 where everything's on the line for these invitationals. I love Poggle's reference here to the team comps, and this is something that I know Sam likes to harp on. It's that go button. It's that option for knowing your comp, knowing what's the easiest conversion to winning the game, and I 100% I agree with Poggle. That's what did it for him in the end.
Yeah, absolutely agree. And we'll see if they end up matching some of that. In terms of bands that we're expecting coming out of here, what do we think we're gonna get? Because that's probably what they're talking about right now. Maybe they're not listening in to us to see what we think, but
Maybe a bait saying it was something other than split push, because I could also see another split push comp coming through.
Yeah, it worked so well for them, and it's tough to have an answer if you can get a split composition rolling. So I wouldn't be surprised, but also there was, both sides have surprises in store. You cannot count any of these players out, especially a team with Zangy and Pop Tarts and Kitty, Soup, Nectar. These are great players, and they're going to come up with some way of trying to answer what they just experienced here.
well, I think one of the things any team playing against Poggle, I think, typically talk about is, you know, play whatever you want, but we're probably not going to ban anything from him. And the reason is
Yeah.
that he'll just play absolutely anything. Um, and so that gives Poggle a lot of the times the option, which is what just happened here, to last counter pick because he'll just say, "Oh, you're playing, Orn. I'll play Vayne. Oh, you're playing Zach. I'll play Trundle." Right. So I think that we'll probably end up seeing something similar happen where they just save the last pick for the top lane counter pick.
Yeah, I could definitely see focus going back to top lane. And despite us having two amazing players in the mid lane here with Bunny Wife versus Tender Kitty, we didn't get to talk about them too much. They both just did their jobs in that game. They were both farming well. It stayed pretty even in the mid lane throughout the game. And honestly, I think that could be kind of the secret pick here coming out in games 2 or 3. If either of those can pop off, they can also carry a game.
You know what's interesting with those two as well is that their champ pools are very similar. A lot of the things that Tender Kitty and Bunny Wife play are like each other's champ pool. There are a couple of signature picks that are more specific to them, but I think that they're both very used to each of those champions, and that's why I think we'll see another. We saw first pick Karma this last time for a similar reason. I think we might see something similar, perhaps a first pick Ari, and it looks like is it Zengi's side that has first pick here?
Yeah, Zangy side picking up first pick here. We got to see the MF coming out in the last game. That's actually quite often a Dr. Fox pickup. So I'm wondering about this bot lane matchup. If you go to the stats for season 13, again, in the invitationals, you get drafted to a specific lane. So throughout the entire 9-week season, you might move around to different lanes. You don't always get to match up against everybody, but the actual matchup is 5-1 for Who Ate My Pop Tarts, and the majority of those wins, I think 3 or 4 of them, were a Caitlyn versus a Misfortune matchup. So of course we see the Caitlyn band coming through again against Who Ate My Pop Tarts.
And then it looks like the only difference in bans between this game and last game was taking away that Trundle. The other side of the bans are the same, and the other two for fewer. And it is the first pick Ari, taking that away for Tender and away from Bunny, who just played that last game.
You're right, those similar champ pools. So it's interesting to see those two match up against each other, not just in the game, but in this pick ban. They even opting to pick up the Ari as your first pick, and we're seeing the Misfortune come through again. Probably the most comfort pick that Dr. Fox has, and honestly, we saw what can happen when the Misfortune goes uncontested with the bullet time in some of those fights.
Yeah, and the Syndra is exactly what I expected to be picked up. Syndra is Bunny's signature pick outside of Ari and in general Tender's champ pool. We're mostly just running back a lot of the same champions here.
Very similar. I went through the stats for every single game of these matchups throughout season 13, and I think the mid lane matchup, the Syndra beat the Ari in like week 6. Don't quote me on this. Somebody can go to the website, CMSA and check me on that for season 13. But I think that was a victory to the Syndra.
Yeah,
and Pop Tarts locking in Callista. I just have to stop and say I'm very excited here to see some Callista versus Misfortune in the bot lane. Gonna have a very aggressive lane. I hope they pair that with, even the Thresh would be good, but any of those engaged supports.
Yeah, Leona, anything that could go in, anything that you're willing to throw into a bullet time would be amazing to see. A counterpick Nautilus at that point.
A Daisy at this point now, just sort of rampaging around within it, is also quite annoying, and that was able to be brought because the Trundle ban needed to be put down, and that was what was banned previously, though, was that Ivern.
Yeah.
And so now we're going to see Daisy's namesake champion.
And that saves the ban, because second round last time we saw bans going to Daisy with the Lilia ban coming out. So we're definitely flipping the script a little bit as we see drafts now towards the top side. Although Volibear already flashed, who knows at this point? We saw Zach go top lane last time. That Volibear could be anywhere.
Yeah, it still could be a flex pick, but I still think that it's more than likely going to Zangy, who's been really enjoying that champion, and they're gonna save Poggle's counter pick for whatever gets picked top lane. I love all of the hate trying to be put down on toward Barbie, but she will play anything, honey. Like Seraphine and Renata are like some really big popular ones, but she will absolutely happily pick up that Leona.
And I mean, after banning like Thresh, Maokai, and Nautilus, and then picking Leona, so you've got a Callista, yes, but what are they going to pair with it?
Yeah, they're shutting down a lot of angles for it, but you still kind of want something that's going to be able to protect her a little bit.
Yeah, Leona getting picked up here at the go button. And maybe there's your go button at that point. Again, Ahri and Rel, Callista ability to throw that Rel in. We might just have a full go comp as Ornn is flashed as well too.
Oh,
And that could be, when we're ready to pick somebody off.
I feel like it's the name that I said before, is he?
You called it. It could be flashed here.
That would be pretty nasty.
That's a lot of damage.
Bel'Veth top. I love it. I absolutely love that.
This is new to me. You're going to have to explain how that matchup in the top lane is going to work because I am unfamiliar with it.
It works by Ornn kind of, trying to do the lane thing and Bel'Veth just sort of swooshing around while he's just swinging a little hammer around. It's not as problematic, I would say, as let's say like a Vayne for the Ornn, but that Bel'Veth is going to scale a lot better.
Very true. As a Bel'Veth jungler, I don't know if I've played her top lane, and I'm also a top laner, so I'm super excited to see this. But I think just, thinking about that matchup, you're right. There's a lot of innate sustain from Ornn, but if Bel'Veth gets to a point where she can pop you, it's very difficult to play out that lane at that point. And I mean, almost a split pusher. Boy, if you get grubs with Bel'Veth, that's a tough thing to deal with.
Yeah, this is exactly what I feel like the top lane was last time, was really focusing in on we're split pushing top. We were going to focus on getting those grubs. I think that they had a slight mistake in the fact that they weren't ready to, go on that 6-stack grubs because the Rumble was down there bot lane at the time. Zangy was ready to get it immediately. But if they can get all 6 of those, which is I think what they're going for here, this comp is going to be very hard for them to deal with.
Yeah, and I want to take a little bit of a sidestep from this comp too and let you know that if you go to shop.cmsaesports.com, there is now a black, a navy, and an oatmeal colored tank that just occurred during the stream. So I will be going there right now. You'll have to give me 1 second while I order that. I'm going to order the hat, have that available for C2E2 on the, what does that say? 26th through the 28th of April.
I believe so, yes.
And we'll run with it. So excuse me for 1 moment while I go order my new swag.
While you're there, let me know if there's any bow ties, the CMSA eSports bow ties available, and I'll have to join you. And then Jules, you'll be casting alone here. So
hey, I'll just start screaming as soon as all of the fights are happening. Just
just like Power Bottom Barbie getting picked, just mad screaming all over the place. Help me, team. We're gonna do it.
I don't know if you've ever played with her, but she is a a riot of a person to play with. Very fun and entertaining. Yeah, we've got a lot of really cool stats here for the matchups. I think that we touched on a little bit of this, but just even looking at the individual lane matchups here from just this season, I think, or is that
just this season? I think the matchups, yeah. So this is how they kind of match up. So very, very close overall. Even if some of the individual matchups are one-sided, like it kind of goes both ways. So
yeah, it really depends because it's so random depending on your team and like there's so many factors that go into this. So this doesn't necessarily mean anything about someone one lane versus not, but definitely interesting to see what the matchups look like today. And I think that Bunny Wife having a 2-0 on Tinder, uh, I played with Bunny Wife quite a lot in my teams, and I think that one thing that Bunny Wife does really really well is playing for the roam, and is really good at like getting up there and moving in with the other parts of the team. Not to say that Tinder doesn't, do that, but there is a lot of really strong power within the roams that I think Bunny typically get.
And if you're new to CMSA eSports here, Bunny Wife, somebody who started in our Pearl League, now graduating up to the Ruby League. When we have enough people, we have that Advanced Sapphire League. We love to see people moving around. And we're talking about moving around here. It looks like we're going to get that 5-point start. We're not going to get that same 4-0 start for anybody in game 2.
Oh, they are not looking to get spicy on this one. Everyone's just 5-pointing. So proper, I love it. Except Poggle, who's lost and doesn't know where his 5-point is.
Yeah, Poggle definitely asked for another quadra kill. He was like, please.
Yeah, he's like, no, let me have that quadra kill.
I don't know how to play this game without that quadra.
It is bold to be invading as an Ivern, I've got to say.
Yeah, maybe it seems like they just want to heist one camp early, but we'll see if they can sneak it out. Yeah.
I'm not sure that they know Volibear is starting on this side. They probably assume that he's actually over there on bot.
There's the dance off happening in the top river at this point, but still secretly maybe moving in. I think vision here not available for blue side to tell you where red is chilling, but this looks like a handshake. We're going to back off here for a second.
Yeah.
Standard start for Daisy.
Would have been so risky to have gotten up there with that information.
It would, yeah.
And neither bot side or bot laner needs to leash, so we're gonna see him go at it right away for that level 2. But level 1 is in the top lane here as Poggle and Nectar start to trade blows.
Yeah, one thing about the Belva thing that I'll talk about, it is weird because you want to get those stacks on her passive, but you only get from jungle monsters and large minions and of course people. So you're getting less of those stacks, but look how much you can do with just 4 dashes
at level 2 advantage, though. Yeah, slightly ahead here in farm. That's a big push in from Poggle. And honestly, I think I just added Belveth to my top lane repertoire.
It's tricky, though, and you do still need to... What you want to do is play for those... You play for the scuttle and you play for the grubs. Make sure that that's always something that you're looking for. That deep ward coverage there helps ensure that that's going to be able to happen later on. Both the Ivern really wants to hyper farm and get to 6, and Volibear is probably going to want to try to do something similar, but with maybe a few games prior.
It looks like Poggle's kind of poised to have a lot of control over the top lane, and certainly in the bot lane, it's on the opposite side of the map where you're going to have this Callista Rel putting in so much damage already, and they're just going to have a lot of control over what's happening in the bot lane. Nectar again forced to just get away. It's so little HP already for him.
Yeah, and then especially with that E that she gets, I don't even think it got popped there, but the amount of damage resistance that you can get on Belveth just makes dueling her 4 dashes and a healing damage reduction AoE around her. It's hard to deal with her one-on-one, especially early game.
Yeah,
people think of her as a late game, but she really does have a lot of early power, and that's why she's good at high elo. Looking
to punish this reward these aggressive trades that have been happening as the dive is commenced here. K2 starting it off, grabbing the turret aggro and then letting Poggle come in and collect the kill. So that's huge, and a big wave crash as well. Nectar losing a lot. Well executed by the Star Guardians.
Yeah, very well executed. Honestly, if that brush had stayed up just a second longer for the Ivor, and then would have taken 1 less turret shot at that point. So big advantage, as we must have seen TP dropping out of the Ornn as damage traded back on the top side. You talked about, Jules, that Royal Maelstrom, the E from the Belveth coming through, and you're getting a ton of damage out of that when you use it with somebody in range, but also a ton of healing. So I can see where this lane Belveth actually has fair bit of sustain walking in here into the already sustained lane of Ornn, but with just more innate damage.
Yeah, and believe it or not, this is post Belveth's pretty large, sizable nerf onto that E. Happened on this last patch, and it was because high elo players were abusing her, mostly in the jungle, not really top lane, to bully people level 1 out of the opposing jungle. Definitely wouldn't recommend playing her against the ranged matchup, though. It's not going to be as fun as it would be against an Ornn. But this is actually huge. Zengi, again, popping up right on time for these grubs. That's really what, was, I think, more of the victory condition for the other side. And I think Zengi knows that, and that's why he's over here taking them.
Yeah, kind of the meta play as we're seeing a little bit of a collapse here from the Star Guardians. Might be able to put out a ton of damage as we see a Charm land. Tender Kitty going around, does pick up the kill. Poggle gonna drop as well here on that Belveth, not gonna be able to heal back. So trading kills around at that point as we have a 2-1 advantage for the TFNFPs in that trade. Grubs dropping as well. And I want to shout out to the fact that due to overwhelming peer pressure in this stream, we now have 5 colors for the tank top on shop.cmsa eSports. So wet noodle fight top, but if you navigate right now to shop.cmsaesports.com, you can get 5 different colors of the tank top and wear them all to C2E2.
Tell me that we upgraded oatmeal flavor to overnight oats as well. We have both.
I can confirm it's called oatmeal tri-blend.
No way. I love
you
that.
can leave it out overnight if you need to.
And then it's overnight oats. All right, perfect.
Well, and now we can have all 5 skins being a CMSA eSports merch color on,
yeah, we call them
one of these teams.
Right?
Yes.
Shirt chromas.
Meanwhile, I complete my order here.
We haven't talked much about this bot lane matchup yet. There's so much going on in that top lane, but
I mean, they've been playing aggressive. That's what they want to do, and they're ready to fight. But here is K2, Ozza, Ivern ready to come in. The spears have been stacking for Hue. It's my Pop-Tarts, but it looks like Ma is going to be with the soup's going to be just a little bit too far. Well, timed gank there from K2 to arrive, as really this bot lane has been pushing into the turret just kind of wave after wave, and Dr. Fox and Powerbomb and Barbie are just preserving their HP, ready for a mid roam or ready for a jungle gank so that they can fight when it arrives.
I love seeing that flash out. Oh, we got another Poggle, you're in danger. He's coming in.
Yeah, Call of the Forge God comes down, locking him down for a little bit, but Poggle able to just skirt his way out of that one with the Void Surge, but that's going to be immediately call to start up this dragon with jungle showing on the top side of the map.
Yeah, as soon as you see that and the ult coming out from there, that is free dragon for you to go after.
And with how strong Who Ate My Pop-Tarts and Soup have been in the bot lane, just really having full control of it, it was well timed from Star Guardians to figure out a way to secure this first dragon.
We've definitely hit the point at that. Oh, it looks like we might be going in on bottom lane.
As they continue, but here is a bullet time, and Who Ate My Pop-Tarts can't get out of there. Does manage to pull in with that Fate's Call, Soup, so Soup's able to escape. But unfortunately, that's not saving Callista, so Who Ate My Pop-Tarts going down in that situation there.
Barbie showing some early tankiness there in that fight. This is a great trade over as we're seeing, again, pretty even in this game. At this point, we see 3 kills to 2. No objectives to fight for at this point. But again, Grubbies have gone to one side. So is that where we're going to see the next team fight? How many are we willing to commit to fight for Grubbies when a Belveth is on the side of Star Guardians?
And this is the most important time for Belveth to get the grubs. I mean, you want all 6, but you really want it once for those unfamiliar with Bel'Veth's passive, you get a special Void Coral when you kill Void monsters, and that gives you 180 seconds on your passive and lets you spawn those little Void. I don't know what they are.
Worms.
The nasty things that aren't the grubs that kill the tower real fast is what they are. Void mites.
Thank you, God.
Oh, wait, no, the Void mites are are those not the grubs with the grub spawn? Maybe I don't remember. They're coral or something. Remora? They're Remora.
Well, you called it, and they're all here around this objective as Zangy trying to go in, but gonna miss everyone with that ultimate. And now Bunny getting low, but kites it out. Zangy going down, unfortunately coming up dry there with the ultimate. And so now that's going to mean that the pings go down, and Bel'Veth gets to eye those voids, but this is immediately going to be a dive into the bot side with Rel here, who my pop starts does not have Fate's Call available to save with the suit, but it's not going to be enough. So they do go 1-for-1, but it does mean a lot of creeps and plating going to go over Callista.
Yeah, even on Grubbies, they're a great time for a dive, even though the kills come out even at that point. Callista getting pretty strong, moving pretty well through this mid game, and that's despite the kill over to Dr. Fox on the MF in that last team fight. So we're seeing pretty even gold splits, only 300, 400 gold difference at the 11-minute mark. Turret's still looking pretty even. And of course, we're a lot of junglers on the cast here, so we're always looking at the jungle opportunities. There's not too much to farm at this point, but we're seeing 3 men committed to the top side here, or just going to miss out on the ultimate. That's got to be a dead Bel'Veth at this point. So much CC coming out from the members of a support, a jungler, and a top laner. Great kill.
That's one of the things that Rel gives you, is this ability to roam so well around the map. So Soup showing up quick, providing support, and are going to try to run down, and by the time they get there, Fate's Call is going to be up, and there's going to be a long lane to work with. So we'll see if Who Ate My Pop Starts wants to fire off the ultimate. But Ivern's going to start to hover.
See if they'll actually want to dive this. Rel is coming in.
Yeah, they don't know about Rel yet. I think they're going to see him, though, and might decide, okay, not to do it on Vision. But yeah, if they hadn't have seen Rel there, they may have probably gone for that dive 1v3.
One interesting thing, just looking at some... Ooh, that was a lot of damage. The Bel'Veth actually choosing lethal tempo here, I think that more unusual than choosing the Conqueror pass. So that means that Bel'Veth wants to... get in and assassinate and get out, as opposed to like staying in for the long haul and trying to team fight for a long period of time.
So now Zangy arriving and securing a little bit of vision. I wouldn't be surprised for them the TFN FP to really move up and try to take a fight around this dragon. It seems like they feel strong right now.
I'm wondering, just mid lane, are we, I love both those players and I want to see them fight more, but I think they must just be so evenly matched up that they're just trading and basing and playing it very safe.
They're willing to just farm away, keep scaling at this point. If they can catch a roam to join, they will, but they haven't to at this point. We committed the Rel to the top lane a minute ago, didn't even need Ahri, who has great catch potential. As we see Dragon now spawning here. This is Dragon number 2, and we've got pressure now from TFNFPs on the bot side. Will they commit anybody else?
They're walking down here. They don't like the look of this.
You've got to be thinking about bullet time here, and there it goes off. One going to be found, quickly canceled by the Rel, but a lot of damage just go down as they manage to backpedal. Fate's Call pulls into the Rel, who's going to re-engage, getting the knockup, but then all the HP bar is going to fall. And they go all the way forward onto the Callista, that Leona finding it with the Cuckooch Farms, able to follow with that root collar. So that means that they're going to secure that dragon, and bullet time, so much damage in that little skirmish.
Zoning too from that, and if you didn't see, we have Fate's Call use that Callista ultimate onto the jungler, not onto the support lane. So good movement. Chef Zangy forced to go back in to hopefully interrupt some damage there with the bullet time coming out, but that's a dragon over to the Star Guardians. We are positioned the same as we are game 1 too. So Star Guardians are our red side. They are hunting to end this in a 2-0, and we're fighting back on the side of the tender fart nectar flavored Pop-Tarts to force a true game 3 here.
So wait, you're telling me that Who Ate My Pop-Tarts, this Callista, has bound to the jungler?
I'm fairly confident in that fight. I saw a poll on the jungler.
Okay, I'm very, very intrigued.
Yeah, and you'll see that sometimes, especially on like heavy engaged junglers, that Volibear, he wants to go in and then go in again. So he potentially has 2 different very nice entrances via that Callista ultimate.
No, Rel's Oathsworn, so.
Oh, it is on Rel.
Okay, confirmation. Rel is the
I
Oathsworn.
don't know
okay,
what
perfect.
I was watching. We see a kill for Who Ate My Pop-Tarts either way. In the mid lane now is a advantage for push there, but they're going to float down towards the bot lane where maybe we see a slightly extended Dr. Fox looking to pick up a little bit of damage on that turret. Going to try to strut away at this point, but damage might come through. Callista's there.
Yeah,
Do we go?
Through the tower
points
going
available.
Execute.
Come back to what Dr. Fox did.
And we'll get it.
You can't
lead.
that, man.
If this were a Wednesday night, you'd be crushing it at this point.
That tower is out of there.
Yeah.
And we're gonna get the second charge potentially, right into the wall. Oh, just to get enough damage to get him up. Are we gonna get the W here, or is he gonna be unstoppable?
Do it, yeah.
But Call the Forge God's gonna try to provide some CC. Just dodge to the side though. Tennessee not able to follow up, but in the bot lane here, once again, you've got this very aggressive bot lane trying to make things happen, but just getting countered by that Ivern, and in the top, Poggle making a 1v2 stand happen.
Honestly, looking eerily similar to game 1, where we see a big swing to one side in kills. We're seeing a lot of pressure now, but Star Guardians controlling this mid game at this point, as a lot of damage coming out in trades, but Bel'Veth still sitting in the top lane and now looking to extend that pressure somewhere else. Is mid tower going to drop now? Mid outer for the side of TFNFPs dropping. And
now all 3 here, we saw top, mid, bot, all dropped right away there. Really, that 1v2 stand from Poggle was huge, meaning that Ivern could be on the bot side, but here's a teleport trying to make something happen. Tender Kitty moving forward does not have Spirit Rush available, but you do have a Blade of the Ruined King here applying the slows from Who Ate My Pop-Tarts, stacking up the Rens on one target, about to Ren down a second one as the shutdown, unfortunately going over to the support there, but they get 2. Well, good TP there out of Tender Kitty to make something happen and at least trade back after losing the turret.
Look at this 317 Ivern with the Malignance. No, thank you. And I wanted to say, with this Poggle situation, if you're playing against a Bel'Veth, you just do not want to play against a Bel'Veth. Why they have this upgraded passive? You got to steer way clear of this. Look how much damage it's doing. Every second auto attack deals true damage while she's in this true form mode.
Yeah, not enough to bait it out there. Gonna pick up the kill as Poggle, and just continuing to extend that lead. We haven't seen a lot of lane swaps out of these 2 teams.
And they're going to turn and go right back. Daisy has been pulled in. You have a 2v1 here. Lots of shields to be applied from that trigger seed, and that's going to be 2 kills scored for Bel'Veth.
You got to leave that Bel'Veth alone. She's in that ultimate form. She's going to do so much damage to tanks. Oh, I love to see it as someone who plays a lot of Bel'Veth in the jungle, but I also want to see a true 3 game game
Yeah,
here.
can we get a stack check on that Bel'Veth at this point? It's going to mean nothing but to the people who play Bel'Veth. It's another kill potential here as Ornn decides to come in Forge God coming out here, gonna do a little bit of damage, not come up for a second. Poggle does not care though, gonna get the stack on the ultimate. Looking for Chef Zangy at this point, doing a ton of damage. Another stack available, gonna eat the CC from Ma with the soup, gonna be able to just walk away here like nothing happened. No, decides to re-engage, again coming out with the damage from Royal Maelstrom, gonna do a quadra kill in the top lane.
Oh no! I love to see it, but I hate to see it, but I love to see it.
That duo. I mean, Poggle has performed so well on this Bel'Veth, but then having Trigger Seed available with Ivern and then Daisy and all the CC, it's just unstoppable, and they're continuing to push forward with this bullet time. Don't forget, you have our whole rest of the team now that didn't even have to participate to get that far, and they're already set their sights on one turret, which is going to fall. Now they're trying to just kite back away from this, but
we're still in Bel'Veth's true form from when she got the second round of grubs, and that's how you want to see Bel'Veth work, is that you just constantly recycle that passive over and over and over again. Every time you get a kill, it resets it back 60 more seconds added to the clock. And they weren't letting those lethal tempo stacks drop off either. So, Bel'Veth is happy to just keep going in there for more each time. And now she's backed and gotten a lot of really good stuff.
Maybe that's what they were going for with this Chromas, because they really did pull the death in Lavender as they're all going in, and now the flash forward, and they're going to immediately drop the carry here. And you've got the true damage coming through as they're going to try to do some damage onto Rel, who backs away, but now you've got everyone in position for this dragon, stunning up the mid lane here, and that ultimate's going to go down, but Tender Kitty just able to get away, but now way too low to contest.
Yeah, if you could just slow down a little bit, Poggle, from one Bel'Veth player to another. I'm not trying to get some nerfs here. A lot of damage coming out. Dragon number 3, this is 3-0. Remember, we split on the grubbies, so 3-0 soul opportunity here in a couple minutes. I don't even know if we'll get to the soul at this point, because we're seeing Dr. Fox going in with a lot of damage on Ma. Doesn't even need to kill, might be able to take that mid lane turret without dropping anybody.
And we're talking a lot about this Bel'Veth situation, which is scary and it is doing a lot. But the hidden hero for a lot of these things, and why I think that Cuckledge Farm should never be able to play Daisy, is that there's so much shielding potential and damage potential that comes from supporting as that Daisy to this Bel'Veth. Great combo.
Honestly, Jules, you're absolutely right. Can we talk a little more about the jungle role and how important it is? Even if we're not getting kills, we're ending the game as we see Bullet Time coming back out for Dr. Fox. Has a ton of damage here. Power Bottom Barbie just slapping away at Zangy just for a second, maybe to stall at this point, so we could get the Nexus. Will you stay alive? No. Chef Zangy gonna pick it up, but we're seeing that last inner turret dropping. Nexus available to auto. Ma with the soup gonna potentially here, staying alive for a second, but this is a free Nexus, and the second win over to the Star Guardians has to be dropping here in mere seconds.
Wow. I mean, very entertaining game for sure.
Yes, that duo of Ivern and Bel'Veth was absolutely terrifying. There was just no answer at that point in the game for the Tenderfart nectar flavored Pop-Tarts, and Star Guardians just completely earning that win, playing that combo so well.
It's the power of just having the ability to, like, if your champ pool is so large, and this is what we were talking about before, is that, hey, yeah, pick whatever you want. I'll just counter pick you every time. And it doesn't matter, what it is, and you're not going to ban against it because it's going to be anything. You don't know.
Yeah, I think you pointed out there, Jules. It's let's give it all up to the junglers at this point. Even though we've got lanes carrying at that point, we've got a lot of support coming out from K2's Ivern play, and I think it's really underappreciated sometimes. So, should we bring K2 in to chat about that game?
Yeah, let's bring K2 in. 100%.
I think so. Hey.
Hey.
How'd that one feel?
Oh, it was so much fun. I was glad I got to play Ivern.
Yeah, you know that we don't like you playing Ivern in this league, so it was really interesting that they dropped that ban for you, and you knew you wanted to pick it up, I'm guessing.
Oh yeah. We were
Any
talking
thoughts?
about support or jungle at the end of first round. I was like, you got to pick me Ivern before they ban it.
Oh yeah, you knew it was banned the first game, and it was dropped so that Trundle wouldn't come out. I'm curious what you all thought in terms of the early game, thinking this Ivern Belveth, was that like an intentional duo pick there that you had thought about?
Honestly, didn't really realize he was gonna play Belveth. It just kind of was a good pick by Poggle, but then when I just saw Orange so low health top lane, I was like, this is a dive angle. I think
Yeah.
getting the first kill does a lot. Plus the little fish for Belveth is on the Grubhub and the Shelly. It's just, I don't know, super hard snowball.
I'm absolutely going to start calling the Grubby's Grubhub for now
I
on.
can never remember the name. I just misspeak it like all the time.
That's so good. I love that.
So, one thing, can you tell us a little bit about how was your team communicating during that game? Now, obviously, you had Poggle in the top lane who was just going to town. How does your team play around that? Who's like, is there any one person kind of calling the shots, making things happen? Are you talking through the game as a team? Tell me a little bit about how that works for you guys.
I think we try to just say like if we have pressure or not, what each person wants. Like, hey bot, do you want to fight? Do you need to back off? And everyone just kind of contributes like clear knowledge, I guess. If you have clear comms and everyone's saying what's going on, I think we then just as a team like we just play together well. I think that's what I felt because we were practicing a little bit this week. Like we just are on the same page. We follow each other, and I think being on the same page in league is like one of the best things. Like even if there are other teams better mechanically, if you're playing together, I think you can win. So I don't know, we just gel.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, that's really what, and especially even, I think from the first game, getting quadra killed like on in the very beginning, like I think that both teams did a really good job keeping up morale no matter what the situation was, and that's really the way to make it a team work well. So
Yeah.
kudos.
Thank you. It was a blast.
Congratulations on the 2-0 win. Nice having you
Thank
for the
you.
Invitational.
All right. I think we're gonna bring in. So we got a straight 0-2 here, and from word on the street, I jumped in the chat with everybody. It looks like that's a straight 0-2 victory. Then over to the Star Guardians. We're gonna bring in Ma with the soup from everybody, the fan favorite team named Tender Fart Nectar flavored Pop Tarts, and get an interview here on the other side. So everybody, go ahead and welcome Soup here to the stream.
What's up? What's up, everybody?
Hey, Soup.
What up? What up?
Welcome, welcome. You had some hard-fought games there despite the 0-2. I want to go back even to game one where, you guys had that. There was a quadra kill onto a Trundle, and that looks like it could spell disaster, but you guys honestly just fought back your way there. Either of those games could have gone over to your side. How you feeling coming out of those first two?
Well, game one, I mean, regardless of the quadra kill, we were honestly very calm about it. We just wanted to focus on our game. We had a game plan, which was specifically to like prio grubs, make sure that mid support could roam, and we even showed it in game two. Like even though we were a bit late on the second game, we did get our game plan. We did get a pick if somebody was, overextending. So I think we stuck to what we knew, and what we knew worked.
Yeah, into that split push comp, we saw it a little bit again with the surprise Belveth top. What were comps like when you saw that getting split to the top lane for game two?
We were actually pretty speechless. We kind of thought like like for example, like we knew Poggle was gonna have a very, very deep champ pool, and Belvest was just a curveball for us. We were very taken aback by it.
Great scaling pickup it was. Honestly, the whole series could have gone either way. It was a knife blade the whole way through, and I think we had pretty even fights out of the mid lane. We had pretty even fights out of the jungle lane, if you call it a lane. And then bot lane was truly an ebb and flow each game. You saw advantages coming to either side. If we're looking into, this is our season 13 invitational going into season 14, what do you think as far as the lane advantages? Who's got the advantage going into 14? What should I switch to if I'm currently a jungle top lane?
Well, support, there's a lot of competition. Barbie was amazing competition. I had so much fun playing against them. It was a bit hard, but I want to hope I gave them a run for their money. Like they're literally D3. I'm like stuck plat or gold 2 right now, so I think as long as I did my best, I think I did great, and I'm pretty sure Barbie feels the same way. I definitely think that they did really good, so I think what's important is that everybody brought everything they've got tonight.
And I think you played great. And I wanted to ask you one final thing for season 13, just kind of reflecting on season 13 as a whole. What do you have, like one word or one sentence that you would use just to describe how this season went for you? Obviously, you made it to the Invitationals, which means that other players playing with you thought you were amazing to play with, a great teammate, someone who embodies kind of the spirit and the spirited play that we encourage here at CMSA eSports.
Hey, I'm surprised. I was very, very surprised that I got the invite to be here tonight, especially as a rookie, this being my first season. But I'm glad everybody liked me. I feel the same way to everybody else. And yeah, this was a great environment. And yeah, thank you for doing this. Thank you for this event.
Thank you for all that you've done. Again, this is rookie Ma with the soup coming into the invitationals. You
Woo!
wanted to see everybody that got to play here. You got to see them play here. We saw the O2 sweep, but again, I'll say it could have gone either way. Your team at that point, it could have gone
Mm.
into that game 3.
Yeah, I think that, game three, even though there was 2 wins there, we absolutely could have seen a very different turn events happen in game 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think
Thank you.
at least for us, it was just late night, and yeah. I mean, I'm okay either way. If we were to just keep it, the 2-0 or go for a game 3, but either way, I had fun.
And honestly, that's what it's all about. Thank you so much for joining us, Soup. It was
Thank you
excellent
for having
having
me.
you.
Thank you for
All
having me,
right, we'll
man.
send you back. Fantastic to see people, and we see this almost every invitational. We get some rookie players from CMSA that get voted again, not necessarily, the highest win rates that go in or the highest KDAs that get put into the invitationals, but this is the vote from the community of who do you want to see play against each other. And we love seeing new faces come. And if you're not already part of the community, CMSA discord.com, get on there, join season 14, which doesn't even start until April 30th after you come see us at C2E2. Right. With that, that's O2 right there. We see the victory go over to the Star Guardians, and it's been a great season. Shout outs again to our production team here. We've got Vibros behind the scenes. We got Kelton's on cameras. Sam VC, one of our weekly casters, Chromacaster, who was on last week, also one of our weekly casters for all of our games. You can catch us again next week for a specialty event that's occurring same time, same place on Tuesday. If you're not already used to it, get used to it because you can join us for season 14 come April 30th, right after C2E2. I don't want to plug everything here, but shop.cmsaesports.com. The chat says I'm getting 0.1% of the kickback on every purchase. I only wish that were true. support us here. Come see us in person. Sam, you going to C2E2, friend?
I'll be there.
It's going to
Would
be
not
so much
miss it.
fun.
If I lived
Yeah.
in Chicago, I definitely would.
Jules, we're going to rent a car. We're going to come pick you up. It's going to be amazing. Honestly,
If
one
you
of the best
personally
parts
come pick
about
me up from San Francisco, I'll be down there.
oh goodness, what have I done? Nobody clip that. We'll find a ride, I'm sure. Come out, join us for our events. It's been awesome hanging out here with you. Sam BC, any last words for you?
No, just a huge shout out to everyone for watching and for especially the viewers that got us to 500 followers tonight. We were wanting to see that all season, so it's fitting that we got it on the last day of season 13. So thank you everyone for tuning in.
Jules, thank you
Thanks,
so much for joining
everyone.
us to have your insight on the Ruby League.
You know it. Look forward to it
For
next time.
everybody here at C2E2, from not C2E2, we'll see you there, but from CMSA eSports, thank you for joining us. We'll catch you next time.